Hey everyone, I'm Storm Shield meteorologist Jason Myers. It is Tuesday, May 20th, 2014. 1 year ago today, the tornado hit Moore, Oklahoma, leveled that elementary school. In fact, we put an entire video together. Check it out, all about that tornado 1 year ago that caused so much damage, caused quite a few deaths and a lot of injuries, billions of dollars in damage. It's all in the video. Again, thanks for checking it out. Let's get to today. Doesn't look like we're going to have a big outbreak like we did a year ago, but we are going to see the potential for some severe weather and two bullseyes for us. Take a look at this. Let's call this bullseye number 1 in northeastern Colorado, southeast Wyoming, right there in the western part of Nebraska. And let's call this bullseye number 2 over the Midwest. We'll hit bullseye number 1 first. A closer look just outside of Denver looks like is the severe weather risk, and spanning all the way up to southeastern Wyoming, the westernmost portion of Nebraska right there. Biggest threat with this is likely going to be some hail, about a 30% chance, or excuse me, yeah, about a 15% chance to see some large hail there, and just a small potential for a few tornadoes. I'd say the best chance for those tornadoes is likely going to be a little farther to the east of this highlighted box right there. And as for wind, could see some strong winds. This doesn't look like it's going to be a big breakout session. It looks like more than likely we're just going to be looking at a few isolated incidences later this afternoon and this evening. Box number 2, which includes big cities like Chicago, just outside of Milwaukee, Madison, Indianapolis, Columbus, Ohio, all going to see even Des Moines, Iowa, right there in that little bullseye. And I think that's where a lot of this activity is going to begin, probably pretty close to dinner time. Tornado threat is really Chicago, you're in the bullseye. So northern Illinois, northern Indiana, look out for the potential for a few isolated tornadoes later today and especially tonight as well. Large hail, another big bullseye in Chicago, and strong winds. That covers a much larger area, and here's why. This doesn't look like it's going to be a big outbreak. More than likely, we're going to see a few thunderstorms pop up, some of which become severe. And when those do become severe, we'll more than likely see these forming into a line that's really more likely to see some strong winds and some large hail with a few isolated tornadoes. Looking at what's going on later today and later tonight, here's what's happening at the surface. Again, we'll focus on bullseye number 1 right here is what we'll call this. Here we are in the afternoon, starting to see a few showers and storms firing up. It looks like in parts of Wyoming. We head through the timeline right here, and as we get closer to the evening hours, we start to see a few bigger storms really beginning to fire up in eastern Wyoming, beginning to move into Nebraska, and a few storms popping up in between, looks like just outside of Denver. Go ahead and move this through the rest of the timeline, and we start to see more of these storms really forming and working their way into Nebraska. Rewind time, head on over to the Midwest and check out bullseye number 2. This is really where a lot of the activity is going to be. Bullseye number 1 is really just that secondary activity that we'll likely see later on today. But still, it's going to be a threat with, again, potential for wind, hail, and tornadoes. We start to see things firing up in central Iowa right around dinner time, and as we head through the timeline, those all move to the east. Notice even in the forecast models, we're seeing a few of these bow echoes forming, and that's likely what this is going to be. We're going to see some strong winds, potentially some hail, with a few isolated tornadoes later this evening and into tonight. Again, this looks like it's mostly going to be a very late afternoon into the evening and overnight event with just a slight risk for severe weather across two portions of the country in northeastern Denver, or northeastern Colorado, just outside of Denver, and southeastern Wyoming, as well as in the Midwest. So keep Storm Shield handy later today. More than likely, we may see a couple of watches issued and possibly a few isolated warnings as well. So Storm Shield will definitely let you know as soon as those warnings are issued. And of course, please follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook. We'd really appreciate it. Like this video and subscribe. I'll see you next time.